It's not fair. These are the 3 words I constantly said when I was growing up. I'm the oldest of 3, and when I was younger, how late I got to stay up really mattered. But my parents were super strict about it. When I was 10, I was allowed to stay up watching the telly until 8:30 p.m. I thought I was class, but I wasn't allowed to stay up a single moment past 8:30 p.m. It was law. But when my little brother was 10, I realised he was allowed to stay up till 9 p.m. I was raging. Then, my little sister was allowed to stay up until 9:30 p.m. A whole hour more. Couldn't believe how unfair this was. I distinctly remember running to my parents complaining, "It's not fair."
We can all relate to this. We've probably all shouted these words. And Jesus' friends would have been feeling this way after they watched him being arrested and put on trial. Like, this was Jesus. He had done nothing wrong. He was completely innocent.
And it got worse. Jesus was actually put through 2 separate trials. The first trial was by the religious leaders who thought Jesus should be punished for claiming to be God. The second trial was in front of the political leaders who thought Jesus should be punished for claiming to be king. Back in those days, anyone who claimed to be a king or ruler was considered to be a threat. And even though, as we said, he had done nothing wrong, they still chose to sentence Jesus to death by crucifixion.
Crucifixion was the most horrible and shameful thing that someone could experience. People were put in chains and they were beaten and tortured in front of all of their friends, family, and community. After this, they were made to carry a large wooden cross on their shoulders through the streets of the city. The cross was fixed in a public place, and then they were nailed to it while everybody watched on. And this is what was done to the hand-healing, people-feeding, death-defeating Jesus, making it one of the most significant moments in human history.
Even as he listens to the insults of those who are crucifying him, he doesn't shout back or curse the soldiers or try to get down from the cross. Instead, we read in the Bible that Jesus simply said, "Father, forgive them." Despite the fact that he could barely breathe and was experiencing such excruciating pain, Jesus chose to love and forgive his enemies.
Jesus wasn't the only person to be executed that day. The Bible says that 2 others, both criminals, were led out to be executed with him. But their responses to Jesus couldn't have been more different. One of the criminals joined in with the Roman soldiers, mocking Jesus with his final breath. The other criminal turned and said, "We deserve to die for our evil deeds, but this man hasn't done anything wrong. He knew he'd messed up and deserved punishment, and that what was happening to Jesus just wasn't fair."
But Jesus' time on earth had come to an end. As the Bible writer John puts it, Jesus breathed his last. A Roman soldier then pierced Jesus' side with his spear, and when he did, blood and water poured out. This showed that Jesus really was dead. And at that moment, the earth shook, the rock split, and the tombs broke open.
This was a day that shook the world. When the Roman officer who was standing at the cross saw all that had happened, he looked up and said, "This man truly was the Son of God. He now understood who Jesus really was. He'd been sent to earth to rebuild what was broken, to reveal what God is like, but now he was no longer alive.
In this moment, all hope seems lost. Had Jesus failed? Was he mistaken in thinking that he would be the one to rescue the world? Was this story really over? Or was there more to come?